What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. I know, been a couple days. I'm back. Don't worry about it. Having to get used to a new work schedule. As I said, don't worry about it. Let me go about my business. So, let's get into it. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos too, so I'm kind of excited to talk about it. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. My opinions on the 22 Magnum cartridge. Is it good for self-defense? Now, of course, we're going to run it through all four self-defense situations that you can generally come by. And I'm going to give my overall review at the end. Sorry, y'all. Now, I'm going to start off with home defense. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are probably wondering, what made you want to do 22 Magnum? Kind of an oddball round, which it is. It is. It is not an extremely common round by any standard. Honestly, the main reason that made me want to do this, to be real, was, I took another look at my 5.7 by 28 video, and I was like, you know what? I think 22 Magnum would also be a good one because, it just made me think, those are pretty similar. Might as well, get that one out the way too. And especially with Smith & Wesson releasing, it's not brand new at this moment in time because it's definitely been, I don't know, at least a year since they released it. But since Smith & Wesson released their M&P 22 Magnum, actually might not have been a year. Who knows? All right. Since they released that, it's made me, kind of want to take another look at the 22 Magnum round. So we're going to, let's get this out the way. A lot of guns that, have 22 Magnum, it's a varying capacity situation. I've seen some where it's extremely low capacity. I've seen some with a really high capacity. So we're gonna have to sit here and break it down on how many rounds I think would be enough. And that's one of those rare situations where you don't really see something like that because, while we could compare it to 9mm, where, oh yeah, well, there's a bunch of different capacities for 9mm, we also know that that's because there's different sizings. There's whatever. Let's get into it. All right, home defense. Now, if we're going by the M&P 22 Magnums, capacity, yeah, that would be okay. You know what I mean? And let me give you guys, just a little info about the 22 Magnum in case you don't know much about it. It's a very low recoil round. It was essentially created to, kind of pick up where the 22 LR couldn't. So, it just give you, the little heads up on what it is, what it's about, right? Better than 22 LR, just low recoil round as well, things along those lines. Just get that in your mind. With the capacity of the M&P 22 Magnum, home defense, I think it would do an okay job. Now, here's the thing. If you guys know me, I'm a big capacity guy. So the capacity that I'm referring to when I say the M&P 22 Magnum, if you guys don't know, it is 30. That is the standard magazine capacity is 30. It's a lot of rounds for a standard mag capacity for a handgun. You know what I mean? So let's get that out the way, guys. But with that high level of a capacity, yeah, you'll probably do just fine considering a lot of people don't like being shot at 30 times. And a lot of people who are trying to, break into your home or, trying to do things along those lines, they usually run once they hear shots. Now, that's not to say that, you want to rely solely on that because you don't. Now, let's talk about the stopping power of it. It does not have a lot of stopping power. Of course it doesn't. It's a very low recoil round. It literally was created to pick up where 22 LR couldn't, Now, with that being said, it's not a hard hitter by any standard. It's not something that you should sit here and, think in your head, oh yeah, one shot will stop them. You never know. In the right spot with really any round, one shot could stop anybody, but that's also in the right spot. You know what I mean? You don't want to rely on hitting the exact right spot because a majority of people in a majority of self-defense situations do not. So let's get that out the way. Now, if we're talking really any lower capacity, I wouldn't trust it. You know what I mean? And I know some people are like, well, that's a really high capacity to say any lower you wouldn't trust. How about this? Less than 20 rounds of 22 Magnum, then I wouldn't do it. That's me personally. You guys are, grown adults, or some of y'all might not be. I don't know. But y'all get to make your own decisions. You know what I mean? I'm simply just giving y'all my opinion on this. It doesn't have the stopping power I would recommend enough for it to be a home defense gun. Or not a home defense gun, a home defense caliber, excuse me. That caliber just doesn't have it. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's fun to shoot from what I've heard. It's great for a bunch of other things. But really, self-defense when it comes to, like, against another human probably isn't going to be very high up on that list. Now, it's not to say it can't do it. Of course it can. I mean, just like how a 22 LR can defend somebody, this can defend somebody as well. But stopping power just ain't it. So honestly, I'm gonna have to give this one, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna have to give this one like a 5 or a 6. Not starting off too great. Now let's move on to concealed carry. With with the 22 Magnum round, you were looking at varying sizes of guns, varying capacities. So generally speaking, you want to find what can work the best for you. In a concealed carry situation, I understand, not being able to have as many rounds on you as you would at home. Like, for example, here's a perfect example. Literally on my nightstand, I have 18, 22, plus 15. I have like 87 rounds just on my nightstand, chilling. You know what I mean? So I obviously can't carry 87 rounds with me wherever I go, though. So I'm aware, of the fact that, hey, I might need to get something smaller. I might need to, not do this, whatever. I get that. In a concealed carry situation for 22 Magnum, I would not take any less than 15. That's me personally. Now, as I said, it is a low recoil round. One of the great things about that is, and I should have mentioned this for home defense as well, you will be able to get follow-up shots a lot easier than with, higher pressure calibers, because there's going to be more recoil to them. So that is a very, very big pro in regard to that's a very big pro in regard to the caliber. All right. When people, they hear low recoil, they think, oh well, it might just be, easy to shoot, your hand's not jumping up. Yeah, but you're not thinking about what that can lead to. That can lead to quicker follow-up shots. So it's a very low recoil round, as I said before. It's not a matter of, oh yeah, well, what if, you should do fine if you have to draw and defend yourself in a concealed carry situation. You know what I mean? You should be able to get as many rounds on target as possible, considering how low the recoil is. So that's a big, big pro here. Now, as I said, considering what the stopping power of it is, I would not go less than 15. For a carry gun, I would not go less than 15. I couldn't do it. It's a decent round. You know what I mean? It can defend you. There's no saying that it can't defend you. Is it your best option in a concealed carry situation? Probably not. Probably not. Now, with that being said, that's not to say it's not good for other things, like this next situation, which I'm about to move on to. Shit's a fan. Shit's a fan. It can be, pretty useful. I would say even close to the usefulness of 22 LR in this case. Now, if you guys know me, you guys know I'm not a fan of 22 LR for self-defense, but you guys know that I openly advocate for stocking up on it and having a 22 LR gun for shit hits the fan, because you are going to need to be able to hunt. Hunting, small game and shit, you're going to need a small round. Not to mention, with how widely available it is, extremely helpful. 22 Magnum, while not as widely available and not as cheap, still will do a great job for hunting small game. So if you're trying to geez, I can English today. If you're trying to choose or decide, literally mixed up the two words right there, decide and choose, between 22 LR and 22 Magnum, it's all based off your preference, realistically speaking. Now, 22 LR is a lot cheaper. I will say that right now. A lot more of it is made. So would I push for 22 Magnum over 22 LR in a, shit, it's a fan situation? Probably not. Probably not. However, that's not to say if you have 22 Magnum instead of 22 LR that you're screwed. I think we're starting to see kind of like a common theme here with the 22 Magnum round is that while it can do the job, it's really not your best option, and something that people need to understand. Now, I'm not hating on this round at all. As I said, it's a low recoil round. From what I've heard, it's extremely fun to shoot. It's useful for a bunch of situations. As I said, shit's a fan. You need to be able to hunt. This also goes for the next situation, all right? Which, of course, as you guys know, if you guys have been watching these videos, you know the 4 situations. And how am I going to label it this time? I don't even fucking know. Animal defense. Defending yourself from animals. Now, here's what I can say. Some animals, you're obviously going to be fucked over on. Let's be realistic here. You know what I mean? Big animals like a fucking bear, alligators, things like that you could run across. If you really think that you're going to be able to stop them with a 22 Magnum, you played yourself. You played yourself. Sorry. You can't say I didn't warn you. That will not be helpful at all. It'll be a bad situation for you in the long run. You know what I mean? Okay. So with that being the case, it really can only be helpful for a certain amount of animals. Now, dog, definitely can be helpful with. Let me see here. Coyote, depending on the size. I know some people are going to be like, that's not how you say it. I don't give a fuck. Coyote, depending on the size, definitely can. I guess somehow if a bird's attacking you and you're able to, draw down on a bird, good for you. It'll do the job. It's not, as I said, it doesn't have a lot of stopping power, guys. So I wouldn't put a lot of trust in it to stop larger creatures. Or really, I wouldn't even put a lot of trust in it to, drop a person when I want them to. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is we do have to, keep this in mind while we're discussing this. So I actually didn't give a number for concealed carry or shit's a fan, and I realized that concealed carry, I'll be nice. I'll give it a 6. Shit's a fan. It definitely gets like a 7.5. Then honestly, for animal defense, we're going to have to give it like a 5. We're going to have to give it in the middle because there's really not too much that it's too great for. You know what I mean? It can hunt small game. It can stop up to a certain size of animals to protect you, but that's about it. So if we're doing the math here, this motherfucker's got like an average of less than 6. He's got an average of less than 6, bruh. So I just want to, that's out of 10. So I want you guys to sit there and think about that. You know what I mean? And as I said, I'm not shitting on the 22 Magnum round. I actually plan on getting some 22 Magnum guns in the future. Not in the near future. It's pretty far down on my list. But it's, definitely in the future. So I'm not sitting here hating on the round. I'm not trying to shit on it, nothing like that. But these are things that people need to understand. And this is, it's very similar to the 5.7 by 28 round. It is very similar, guys. Wow, the 5.7 by 28 round is a low recoil round. It has a pretty good capacity. It can do the job. If it needs to, it can do the job, I guess. It's still not the best that you would want to defend yourself, your home, your loved ones, anything along those lines. Now, that's not to say that it can't do it. That's just to say that it probably can't do it as well as some other rounds. With that being said, I think that about wraps it up. My overall review on the 22 Magnum round, let's ignore my little scoreboard here for a minute. My overall review is it is a pretty good round for, as I said, for shooting. It's a pretty good round for, what it was generally made for. Self-defense, I don't think, is one of those things. All right. So that being said, that wraps it up for this video. Y'all go ahead and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, the 22 Magnum round, while being pretty decent in, some aspects, low recoil round, fun to shoot, things along those lines, is great. It probably isn't your best option for self-defense. Go ahead and make sure to check out my other videos. Other than that, y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.